Yeah. Run it back, Nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no mother intros. Hit the like button on the stream. That helps me out. You guys have been amazing. Showing me love, helping the channel grow every day, every stream, every video. And check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you want the show in audio form, it is on all podcast platforms. You want to listen to me yell about Doc Rivers while you're mowing the grass, while you're driving to work, without being, tempted to look at the video and crash your car. Listen to it on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast network. Search Run It Back Philly. We're on there. And give me a 5-star review. You know what I mean? All right, man. Look. Shout out to everybody in here already, man. 70 people. What's up, man? What you guys doing? You guys at work? You at school? You on a lunch break? What you doing? Hit me in the comments. Let me know. The Philadelphia 76ers play the Miami Heat tonight. Game 2 of the second round of the NBA playoffs. Game 1 obviously did not go quite as planned. The first half went as planned. The second half did not go as planned. Here's the main thing I want to say on this episode of this show, okay? People are responding to me, all the things that I had to say about Doc Rivers, all the things that I had to say about Game 1, all the things that I noticed, all of my opinions on what went down. A lot of the replies, most of you agree with me, I don't know, but a lot of the replies debated with me. First thing I want to say is this Doc Rivers thing is really reminding me of the Ben Simmons situation, where I am absolutely blown away anytime somebody defends the guy. Because, especially Doc Rivers, too. Ben Simmons, okay, you were a fan, you had his jersey, his posters on your wall, you don't want to come to the realization that he's a fraud and a loser. So you're in denial. But Doc Rivers, what did Doc Rivers ever do to have people on YouTube defending him? It's crazy. It's crazy to me when somebody defends it. But the main thing here is this: when people are coming at me, replying to all of my things that I've said about Doc Rivers in that Game 1, and all the things that I've said about him this entire season and last season. But the main thing that I disagree with, that people are coming at me and saying, is that we're screwed either way. That's what people are basically saying. Oh, you really think Paul Reed was going to make a difference? You really think Charles Bassey, a rookie from the G League, is going to come out here and dominate the Miami Heat and win the game? Like, we're screwed either way. We don't have Joel. It's not Doc Rivers' fault. It's not Doc Rivers' fault we shot 18% from 3. It's not Doc Rivers' fault we did this, we did that. It comes off as deflecting. It's the same thing Doc Rivers does in a post-game press conference. You can't deny the fact that we had a chance to win Game 1. We were up by 1 at halftime. It's not about, is Charles Bassey going to come out here and drop 25, 12, and 7 blocks and hit a game-winning fadeaway 3? No. But quite clearly, quite obviously, and so obvious that now you got people in the national media, some that are respected, some that are just talking heads, but, I mean, it's a general sports consensus at this point that you stand a better chance playing a 3-legged dog at center than Deandre Jordan. That's where I'm at with it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This Miami Heat team is very beatable. It's very beatable. We can exploit mismatches. We're going to shoot better than 18% from three. Someone on the radio today said this, like two different things, and I was yelling at the radio, arguing. I should have just called the show. Dude said, it's not Doc Rivers' fault. He said the only thing I blame Doc Rivers for is playing Deandre Jordan in that game. It's not Doc Rivers' fault that we shot 18% from three. It's not Doc Rivers' fault that we couldn't rebound. Bro, you just said you blame Doc Rivers for playing DeAndre Jordan, but it's not Doc Rivers' fault we couldn't rebound. DeAndre Jordan had 2 rebounds in 17 minutes. Paul Reed had 9 in 13 minutes. And yes, he fouls a lot. Charles Bassey would definitely have more than 2 rebounds in 17 minutes. In fact, he had 2 rebounds in 3 minutes. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying any of these players are going to come in and take over the game and lead us on some kind of magical championship run. I'm saying it should be blatantly obvious that you stand a better chance at winning by playing Paul Reed and Charles Bassey than DeAndre Jordan. That's all I'm saying. I don't think you can argue that point. If you want to deflect and say, well, we don't stand a chance anyway, or that's not the reason we lost, or on and on and on, do we stand a better chance at winning with DeAndre Jordan as far away from this team as possible at this point? Yes or no? I mean, how can you argue and I'm not even an analytics guy, but how can you argue these numbers? Doc started the game with DeAndre Jordan. We immediately went down 12 points in 4 minutes. The dude got absolutely smoked in 4 minutes. Doc says, oh, shit, this ain't working. I got to yank him. Yanks him, puts Paul Millsap in the game for 5 minutes. Then he finally puts Paul Reed in the game. I think I'm right about that. Maybe Paul Reed came in before Millsap and then got in foul trouble quick, and then he went with Millsap. I don't remember exactly. But if Doc Rivers and the whole coaching staff believes in DeAndre, is a good point that I just thought of, believes in DeAndre Jordan so much that they're going to start him, then why'd you pull him out in 4 minutes, Doc? Tell us that. Why'd you pull him out in 4 minutes if you believe so much that he's your best option at center? Because he got absolutely smoked in 4 minutes. That's why you pulled him out. Anyway. DeAndre plays 4 minutes. You go down 12 points. You yank him. Millsap was only a -3. So you catch up a little bit there. Paul Reed was a +9, a +8. So we erased that whole 12-point lead and are up by 1 at halftime. And there was a lineup in the second quarter. They went small ball, where George Niang and Tobias Harris were basically playing like pseudo center. There was no center on the floor at all. You are better in this series with 0 centers than DeAndre Jordan, as you could clearly see in the second quarter. So you ran zone, you played Paul Reed, you went small ball and didn't play a center at all, and you were up 1 at halftime. But then in the second half, you said, hey, let's go back to DeAndre Jordan. I just don't understand how you could watch that unfold, watch the Sixers get out-rebounded by 1 million. I mean, 3, 4, 5 offensive rebounds in one single possession, and look at the numbers and argue that playing DeAndre Jordan did not have a large impact on that game. That game was very winnable, and playing DeAndre Jordan had a massive impact on that game. So, if you're talking about what do we need to do to win game 2, I know Doc already said he's playing DeAndre Jordan, but the coaching staff, somebody above him has to say, you're not playing DeAndre, Doc. Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. Come into this conference room, sit down. Here's a 100-inch projector. Look at these numbers, Doc. This is what happened when you played DeAndre. This is what happened when you pulled him out. Should be simple. Can't play DeAndre Jordan. Also, why is everybody so concerned with Paul Reed being in foul trouble? Paul Reed's not a superstar. We're not relying on him to bring us home in the final stretch of the game. Oh, my God, no. Paul Reed has 3 fouls. We got to sit him down so we can have him fresh for the fourth quarter because we all know Paul Reed is going to carry us to victory. No, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. It's such a weak argument to me. Yeah, well, we can't play Paul Reed because he's going to get in foul trouble. What happens if you get in foul trouble? Nothing. Nothing happens. It's Paul Reed. If you're in the bonus in the first half because Paul Reed has 5 fouls, who cares? Play Paul Reed. If he fouls out at halftime, play Charles Bassey. If Charles Bassey fouls out in the third quarter, play Paul Millsap. If Paul Millsap gets sniped from somebody in the rafters, then you play DeAndre Jordan. You only play DeAndre Jordan if players foul out or die. That's the only time DeAndre Jordan should be on the court is if all the centers are fouled out or dead and you have to go to DeAndre Jordan. What a way to start the show. Thanks for everyone being here. Now look, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Miami Heat on March, where are we at? March 21st? March 15th? Why isn't the date here? March 21st, March 20th. I don't know. The Sixers beat the Miami Heat just a little while ago. Without Joel Embiid. Without James Harden. How did they win that game? Well, let's go ahead and look at it. Let's go ahead and look at how they won that game. Because we got to know. We got to know how they won that game. Key contributors to the Sixers' victory over the Miami Heat in March 20th, 2021 or 2022. And do you think Doc Rivers even took the time to say, how did we win the last game? How did we win against the Heat in March? Obviously, all of these names on the screen are huge factors because the Philadelphia 76ers are probably the most inconsistent team in the NBA when it comes to role players. You're either getting really good production out of role players or you're getting nothing. Key contributors to the victory over the Miami Heat on March 20th. Tyrese Maxey tallied a game-high 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 blocked shot in 28 minutes. Maxey's playing closer to 40 minutes in these playoff games, especially without Embiid when he's staggering James and Maxey and trying to do all this semi-creative stuff, if that's what you want to call it. So obviously you need a massive game from Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, you need James Harden to have the best game of his season so far. R. Granderson, my guy, on the money, right when I said it. Harden going for 25 plus tonight. I don't know. Can you win with Harden scoring 16? I don't know. But what I saw in game one is that game was very winnable. If you don't put DeAndre Jordan in there and get smoked at the rim every possession, and you shoot better than 18% from 3, you stand a chance. You stand a chance at stealing game 2, and maybe Joel Embiid comes back game 3 in South Philly. Listen to this point also. Somebody tweeted this yesterday, and it blew my mind. The Miami Heat scored 106 points in the game. Okay? Game's 48 minutes long. In the 17 minutes Deandre Jordan was on the floor, they scored 50. Bro, they scored 50 of their 106 points in 17 minutes when Deandre Jordan was on the floor. If he's on the floor the whole first half, they have 100 points at halftime. You can't argue these numbers. You just can't. Jared, thanks for telling me that, man. Let me fix this real quick. And I'll get to some callers in a minute after I get some of these rants out. We beat the Heat on March 20th. Shake Milton, in 31 minutes, had 20 points off the bench. It wasn't that long ago. You know, people that are saying Shake Milton's washed, Shake Milton's not what he used to be, Shake Milton doesn't have the confidence that he used to have, yada, yada, yada. Just in March, we got a 20-point game from Shake Milton off the bench. Obviously, that's massive. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block from Shake Milton. If you're getting 26 and 5 from, that's the best version of Shake Milton that exists, right? So, again, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's possible. You just need the best version of some of these players to show up tonight. Furkan Korkmaz sparked the Sixers off the bench with 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal in 27 minutes. 18 points from Furkan Korkmaz just a couple of months ago, just like 2 months ago. So I don't know if that's going to happen. He threw Korkmaz out there last night, or 2 nights ago, game 1. He put Korkmaz out there, which was super weird because in the playoffs, in the fourth quarter, I know you're down Joel, but I don't know if that warrants you playing Furkan Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle, and Deandre Jordan on the floor together in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. So it's like the first half made so much sense, and the second half, Doc just forgot what he did in the first half and went haywire. His computer malfunctioned. He just did all kinds of random things in the second half. It was so weird. You can get this from Tyrese Maxey. You can get this from Shake Milton. I'm going to X out Furkan Korkmaz. I don't think you can get that. Tobias Harris didn't have a great game. It had 14 points. He had 27 in game 1. He's been playing great in these playoffs, so I think you can get more production out of Tobias Harris tonight than he had in that last victory against the Miami Heat. And then, of course, George Niang, who was 0 for 7 in game 1. When you talk about this bench, and this is the worst bench in the NBA, and on and on and on, George Niang's the major part of the bench. Like, you need George Niang to contribute, or your bench is kind of done. You need Shake Milton and George Niang to be the best versions of themselves to win, to steal game 2 in Miami. George Niang had 15 points off the bench, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block in 33 minutes. How many minutes did George Niang play in game 1? In game 1, George Niang played 21 minutes. That was obviously because he was bricking everything. Couldn't hit a shot. So Doc started to pull him and try different lineups and stagger things. The last time we beat the Miami Heat, George Niang had 15 points off the bench. So look, if you get a good version of Shake Milton, if you get a good version of George Niang, and Tyrese Maxey also missed a lot of those wide open threes in game 1. I was watching Romp's breakdown, by the way. Romp Sixers on Romp on Sixers YouTube channel. Sorry, Romp. Romp's Sixers channel. Go there. Watch the video breakdown today. Romp does an amazing job of breaking down the video. Sixers Talk with Romp. I'm sorry. Sixers Talk with Romp. Breaks down the video. I was watching that today, and Maxey had a lot of those real confident pull-up threes that he hits in some games. In some games he misses. He was missing them in that game. He was 1 for 6 from 3. So seriously, like, we were down 14 points with 4 minutes left. We shoot a little bit better from 3, and we don't get smoked on the boards, and we don't get smoked at the rim with 17 Deandre Jordan minutes. We can beat this Miami Heat team. I really mean that. I really mean that. $183 people in here, man. Hit the like button. Let me know in the chat. You think the Sixers could steal game 2? I'm saying it's very possible. I'm saying it's very possible. This is not the worst bench in the NBA. It is the worst coach in the NBA. Well, Pete, 2 things can be true. Are you going to go ahead and name a worse bench than this in the NBA? Shake Milton and George Niang and Furkan Korkmaz and Matisse Thybulle, who can't even play basketball? Name a worse bench. Jermaine, you're right. Miami didn't shoot the ball well either. Tyler Hero went off on us in spurts, finished with 25 points. We got to defend Tyler Hero better. He just had wide open threes, and he was on the money. Duncan Robinson didn't even play. That's how smart, level-headed, self-aware, open-minded, and creative Eric Spoelstra is. That he would sit down and say, based on matchups, based on size, length, I'm going to go without Duncan Robinson's three-point shooting in this game because I don't want him to get exposed defensively. Doc Rivers would never do that. Doc Rivers was playing Furkan Korkmaz for 3 straight months, and the guy was atrocious. So, Julio, there's a lot of people like that, man. There's a lot of people that just come in here to argue. It is what it is. Thanks for being in here. Thanks for the view, man. JJ Redick had some interesting things to say on ESPN. And I'm going to play it real quick. Let me know if you can hear this. You guys give me a yes or a no in the chat if you can hear this.
About things, JJ Redick starts to give me the side eye. But you know Harden. You were with him in Houston. So tell me this. I'm interested from a coach's perspective. If you're Doc Rivers.
Can you hear that? Yes or no? Nice. That's cool. I like that you can hear that. So there's no echo. Okay. JJ Redick on ESPN talked about Doc Rivers. And, that's what's funny about the people that are arguing with me about it. I'm going to go with JJ Redick's opinion. That's just, I'm going to go with a 16-year NBA player, one of the best shooters of all time. I'm going to go with his opinion on the situation.
About things, JJ Redick starts to give me the side eye. But you know Harden. You were with him in Houston. So tell me this. I'm interested from a coach's perspective. If you're Doc Rivers, how do you utilize Harden now without having Joel Embiid?
Well, you have to quickly make him as comfortable as you possibly can. And
this isn't JJ Redick, but I'm going to listen to this anyway.
By doing that, you have to go back to when he was most successful. And you go back, you watch the film of when he was in Houston.
Oh, come on, man. Stop. When are we going to stop? Stop with this. Stop with this Houston stuff. It's over. It's done. There is no Houston James Harden anymore. When are we going to stop with this?
And you got to figure out how you can put him in those positions, and I'm sure Doc is. That team was full of shooters, so it gave them plenty of space, and then they played quickly and early in the shot clock. So you got to see if you.
I'll tell you how you put him in those positions. He was lightning quick. He was absolutely unguardable. You can't just put him in those positions. He drew double and triple teams because he was unguardable, and people were wide open in the corner. It's not rocket science. What can Doc Rivers do to make James Harden faster right now?
How quickly you can get back to that and make him comfortable.
I want to be clear on one thing, Molly. The statute of limitations only applied to the Los Angeles Lakers because we were doing 4 segments a day in April when they had been eliminated from the playoffs. Okay. So I actually wanted to talk about the playoffs.
Fair use, DJ. Yeah. I don't know. It's on Twitter. Usually I don't get knocked down if I'm playing a clip from Twitter. So I don't think YouTube's algorithm is that advanced yet. It might be. Might get knocked down. We'll have to see. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
have you heard of this guy named LeBron James?
No, I get it.
In case you haven't heard, he sells. And guess what? Tim Legler co-signs that because he was right there with me.
The Nets had a long shelf life, too. I know JJ's talking about.
Gentlemen, there's a thing in the TV business called playing the hits, all right? People aren't always sitting.
All right. Where's the JJ segment, man? Come on.
Always.
Right. Yes.
I didn't come here to hear Molly. She looks good, but I don't want to hear her talk.
One of the things we talked about in the first segment was just his inability at times to get by guys. So
thank you.
There was a great play that Houston used to run where he would throw it high post, get down to the right corner, set a little inverted screen for him, and he'd come off 2 screens getting to that left hand.
Me saying I don't want to hear Molly talk is not sexist. Don't be a weirdo. I literally came here to hear JJ Redick talk. I don't want to hear Molly talk.
Incorporating more of those sets, I think, will be helpful. And again, he can make tons of plays. Going to his left hand, that left-hand pass, lob pass, pocket pass, back out to the 3-point line. I think that's great. To me, the adjustment's got to be more lineup-based, and they need more shooting. I'll repeat what I said earlier. Tobias Harris and George Niang going small, playing them at the 4 and 5.
Oh, yeah, that's what worked in game 1.
Mixing in a bunch of zone, as I mentioned. 71 offensive possessions in game 1 in the half court against man. 1.13 points per possession scored for the Heat. When they went zone on those 23 possessions, they only scored 0.65 points. So they had a lot of success with that zone.
With Paul Reed in the game.
Now, the bad thing about a zone is very hard to match up on the offensive glass. And P.J. Tucker absolutely killed them last night. Bam Adebayo killed them last night on the offensive glass. So if you do go small to benefit James Harden, you also need to put an emphasis on the offensive glass.
About things, JJ Redick.
Couldn't agree more, JJ. Couldn't agree more. There's also a clip that I posted on my Instagram page of him literally saying, "I'm sorry, Deandre Jordan can't play anymore." And I kind of thought it was in that clip, but it wasn't. So I'm going to just go there real quick. And I don't know why my camera just died, but it did. But we're back. Let me get my IG up here real quick. 219 people in here, man. Hit the like button. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chilling with me. Lunchtime stream. Can the Sixers steal game 2 against the Miami Heat? I think they can. I think they could have stole game 1, but I think they could steal game 2. Here's JJ on DeAndre Jordan.
Small, and they attacked. They couldn't buy a 3-point bucket. And they also had a lot of success when they went to that zone. 23 possessions in zone last night, 0.65 points per possession. The 71 possessions in half court and man, Miami scored 1.13 points per possession. So to me, this is more about let's adjust the lineup a little bit. DeAndre Jordan, as much as I love him, a dear friend, at this point, I don't think he should be starting in a playoff game. Start Paul Reed, and then at times go small with Tobias Harris and George Niang out on the court. Spread them out. Give Harden space, give Maxey space, give Tobias Harris space, and shoot threes.
Is it going to happen? We can all say what Doc Rivers should do. Is it going to happen? Wesley Stone, man, what's up, bro? Thanks for being here after you cried about me hating Ben Simmons for 2 straight years. Thanks for still being here. I see that you still have pretty horrible takes, so we'll read it on the screen here. Bassey has barely played all season, and you want to count on him in the playoffs? Wesley, what is the other option? What do you mean? No, I don't want to count on him in the playoffs. But I would rather try that than count on Deandre Jordan. Like what? If I have 2 cars and I got to get to work and one of them barely starts and the other one only goes 5 miles per hour, I got to take the one that goes 5 miles per hour. Do I prefer that? No, I'd rather have a car that works. But I'm not going to take the car that's going to shut off. Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't get it. Ben Simmons supporters should not comment for the next 20 years. I agree. Whether we like it or not, DJ's dropping a 2.1 rebound game. Probably is, man. He probably is. I'm trying to have some optimism here. I think we can steal game 2. But if you had to ask me what Doc Rivers is going to do, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to play DeAndre Jordan. I just hope that the same thing happens in game 1 in the beginning of the game. I hope DeAndre Jordan gets absolutely smoked for a minus 12 in 4 minutes. Doc pulls him out and then never puts him back in. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. Four things to watch for in game 2 of the Heat Sixers, man. Taz Journey, thanks for the support, man. Coach Redick, I would love it. I would love Coach Redick. Why not? Why not? I think people were right. I posted that on Instagram, and I put JJ Redick for head coach in 2023. I wasn't being totally serious. I would rather Sam Cassell, probably. But, younger guy, understands the modern NBA, clearly understands what you should have on the floor in a matchup situation versus what you shouldn't, which is, it doesn't take a genius to figure out. I mean, this is the craziest part about it. Like, we went through it with Brett Brown. There was things Doug Peterson was doing with the Eagles. I see these coaches do these things, and you could go to any bar in any state in the country, and some random dude on his 12th Miller Lite and 3 shots of whiskey can look you dead in the face and say, can you believe Doc Rivers is playing DeAndre Jordan at center? It doesn't take much to figure it out. It's not that complicated, man. Stop thinking you're a brain surgeon. Stop thinking you're a rocket scientist. You're a basketball coach. It's very simple. Don't play DeAndre Jordan. That's it. It's that easy. But he's on such a high horse. He's going to take it. He's going to run it into the ground because he swears that he's the smartest man in the room. And he's unwilling to look himself in the mirror and realize that he's wrong. And that is just classic narcissism. Dude's a sociopath. He really is. All right, look, 4 things to take away from the Sixers Heat game 1, or 4 things to look for in game 2. So somebody pointed this out in the chat earlier, and I agree. The Heat can be better. According to Second Spectrum tracking, Miami got higher quality shots than Philly in game 1, but the Heat's field goal percentage 48.4% was their lowest of their 6 playoff games and not that much higher than that of the Sixers. So that tells you we didn't do a great job of defending them in general. They got good shots. They just missed a lot of them. So that's something to make you nervous, because the Heat could shoot a lot better in this game also. We need to shoot a lot better no matter what, because 18% isn't going to win you any playoff games or probably any NBA games at all. They were more efficient, 106 points in just 93 possessions, because they attempted 13 more shots from the field, dominating the glass, committing 2 fewer turnovers. The Sixers shot 1 for 12 on wide open threes. That just hurt my face to say that out loud. The Sixers shot 8% on wide open threes. That blows my mind, actually. I seriously think I can shoot better than 8% on wide open threes from NBA range. How is that even possible for NBA players who do this every day for a living to shoot 8% on wide open threes? The Heat weren't much better, 4 for 18 at 22%. That's a lot better. It's not great, but it's better. Even against the Sixers zone, which had good numbers overall, good looks were had. You're going to get good looks in a zone, of course. They were shooting bad from 3. That's why you go zone, force them to shoot, take away the penetration, because Deandre Jordan can't stop anybody. You know the drill. As they went scoreless in their final 6 trips of the first half, the Heat also had some confounding half-court possessions against man-to-man. Alternative ball handlers. James Harden did not have his best game on Monday, as noted. The Heat shrunk the floor when Harden used the pick or isolated. He finished with just 10 drives in Game 1, down from 16 per game in the regular season. He had just 6 points and 1 assist on those 10 drives, with the Sixers scoring just 0.9 points per chance when he drove. And that's funny, because when Doc said we're going to run this James Harden-centric offense, Houston James Harden, whatever you want to say, that's not possible anymore, and I had negative things to say about that. Some people didn't like it. Why are you being so negative? Because it's impossible. Look who was right again. Houston James Harden, literally running ISO, trying to get James Harden to penetrate and kick out. He only had 10 drives in Game 1. Not here to say I told you so, but damn it, I told you so, man. Daniel Hilt, thanks for the support, my man, as always. Yo, I don't normally agree with Nick Wright, but I tagged you in something on Twitter that actually makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to go play that too, because he was on the money about Doc Rivers also. The pivotal third quarter, these were the 2 best third quarter teams in the first round. The Sixers outscored Toronto by 33.6 per 100 possessions. The Heat won 4 of 5. Third quarter was decisive one on Monday. Sixers were up 1. It ended up with the Heat being up 8 after an empty trip to start the second half. Miami scored 28 points over its next 15 possessions, with 4 different guys scoring at least 5. And Deandre Jordan only had 4 minutes in the first quarter. I don't remember how many he had in the second, but he finished the game with 17. So that tells me Doc played him more in the second half than he did in the first half, after seeing how atrocious he was in the first half. Anyway, the DeAndre Jordan question lingers. DeAndre Jordan's minutes in Game 1 were not good. Of course, Jordan was not solely responsible for every empty possession had, while, according to Second Spectrum tracking, the Heat scored 1.4 points per chance when Jordan defended a ball screen in Game 1. They almost scored every single time he defended a ball screen. 1.4 points per possession. Some of that was ball handlers stepping into a comfortable jumper because Jordan wasn't leaving the paint. Some of it was contested Adebayo post-up shot, bouncing around the rim and in after Sixers shut down the initial pick and roll. It's a make-or-miss league, and bad results don't always signify a bad process, but the results with Jordan on the floor have been pretty bad all season. It will be fascinating to see what the results are in Game 2 if Jordan does indeed start again. If they're bad again, it will be even more fascinating to see what Sixers coach Doc Rivers does about it. Come on, Doc. Use your brain here. Use your brain, Doc. We just need you to use your brain instead of your pride. That's what we need. We just need you to wake up today. Put on your life alert necklace. Take your elevator down the stairs. Get to the damn arena and use your brain. Yeah, let's play that Nick Wright clip real quick. Shout out to Danny Hill for sending that to me on Twitter. Gotta find it now. I retweeted it. If I knew how to work Twitter, that would be better. Here we go. Share 234 in the chat. Hit the like button, man. What's up? What's up, man? On first things first, Nick Wright said James Harden was winning MVPs the last time Deandre Jordan was playable. He doesn't jump for rebounds. He doesn't try on defense. Doc Rivers' commitment to playing the worst player in the league is impossible. He's been done for 3 years.
The last James Harden was winning MVPs the last time DeAndre Jordan was playable. And Doc Rivers' refusal to acknowledge this. And seemingly, he was asked about it a few weeks ago, and he's like, listen, idiot media, when they're big, we're going to play big. When they're small, we'll play Paul Reed, I guess, if you make me. But maybe not. And then yesterday, he's like, hey, get out your pen and paper. We're going to keep playing DJ. Like he has a bet he has to win. DeAndre, in the first half last night, they played 20 minutes.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of times I can't stand Nick Wright, but man, he's in the money right here.
Without DeAndre Jordan, they were plus 13. They played 4 minutes with him. They were minus 12. And then in the second half, because Paul Reed got in foul trouble, he's like, DeAndre, get out there. And it was over. Brew, he doesn't jump for rebounds. He doesn't try on defense. Doc gets a lot of flack for things that might be unfair. His commitment to playing a guy who is right now the worst player in the league that gets to play is impossible. It's just impossible. He's been done for 3 years. Steve Nash even realized it. Frank Vogel begrudgingly finally realized it. You're starting him in playoff games. It's impossible. So even if Harden was great, you can't get over the DeAndre thing. You just can't, or I can't.
Thank God I'm not the only one that's blown away by Doc Rivers starting DeAndre Jordan. And you know, when you say, well, you want to rely on Bassey in a playoff game, you can't. You have to try something else. Tariq, what's up, man? Looked at the box score in the second half and saw Reed and Jordan played the same minutes. Reed had 6 more rebounds in the same amount of time. I legit am lost what Doc is thinking. These rim protectors don't do nothing. The sad part really is that if Doc runs this into the ground, he might get a pass because the people that aren't really watching the game intently are going to say, well, they're playing without Embiid. They're done. You can't blame the coach. How can you blame the coach when they had to face the Miami Heat without one of their star players? That's what people are going to say. So sadly, we might lose in the second round, and we might still see Doc Rivers next season. You know, it sucks, man. Anybody want to give me your thoughts? The phone number's on the screen. Go ahead and hit me up, man. Let's have the discussion. Can the Sixers win? Can the Sixers steal Game 2 in Miami? Go back to Philly with a 1-1 split? And pray that Joel Embiid comes back with a mask on, giving us a chance. deep inside, it's like, do I even want to win, really? Do I even want to get past? If they get past this round, then Doc Rivers gets all the passes in the world. Then he's the best coach that's ever existed if they get past this round. Doc Rivers upsets the Miami Heat without Joel Embiid. I think you can win. Phone number isn't working, people are saying. Damn. What's going on here? Let me check my stuff here. Well, that's the phone number isn't working because it's the wrong number. Hold on a second, man. Let me put it up here. I'm sorry. There you go. There's the number. The graphic that I made with that number on it was an older number. My bad, man. There's the real number. I can't do Discord on StreamYard because it echoes. Discord's been pissing me off lately anyway. It's like audio seems to be bad. A lot of people can't figure out how to unmute their mic. On and on and on. But anyway, there's the actual number. If you want to call the show and give me your thoughts. Blaze Kaiser says, not happening without Embiid. You don't think we could steal one game? Why not, man? We were up 1 at halftime. We were up 1 at halftime, man. I mean, if we're up 1 at halftime. Caller from Naples, Florida. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, DJ? It's Danny, man.
Danny, what's up, man?
Oh, nothing much, If we play DJ, we kind of lose. So it's kind of how you think about it. And it's kind of a weird time. It's like, do we want to win? I mean, we want to win, but then Doc says if we lose, Doc might get fired. It's like, we don't know. It's such a confusing time as a Philly Sixers fan right now.
That's true. It is. It is confusing time. But like being up 1 at halftime tells me that this Heat team is beatable. What do you think has to happen to win the game besides Doc not playing Deandre Jordan? Can we win if he plays him? Can we outlast how terrible Deandre Jordan is defensively?
I mean, I do because Niang went 0 for 7. Danny Green went 1 for 6. Maxey went 1 for 6. All on 3. Like if Niang hits 2, Danny Green hits 1 more, and Maxey hits 3 more. I mean, that's what is that? 15 points. So I think they're very beatable. I think stamina also got the best of us in the second half. So I think the team is beatable. I do think, especially with Lowry being out again tonight, it's kind of like you just got to attack. Like what happened in Philly, Maxey attacked Hero a lot, but I never saw that at all in game 1.
Yeah, I didn't see them strategize to attack Hero either. And that's definitely something you need to do. Definitely, you got to fish out mismatches. The reason Harden couldn't get anything going against Toronto is because you couldn't get a mismatch once Van Vliet was out. So you definitely have to attack mismatches. I agree with that, man. We'll see. We'll see if they pull it off. All right, Danny, thanks for the call. I didn't know Danny lives in Florida, man. Shout out to Florida. Caller from Miami, Florida. Please be a Heat fan.
Yeah, I am, bro. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
I love your show. I like the Sixers too, man.
Oh, okay. What's up? You like the Heat
Not
and
like
the Sixers?
that. Not like that. Like not on the level, but you know.
Yeah, I feel you. What's up?
Just wanted to say, man, I was at the game and lots of Heat Sixers fans, man. As soon as Hassan showed up, everybody was like, we don't need Embiid. You know, we're rocking this shit. So it was a good game all around. I just think that, you know, if you guys like make more shots, you know, pack the paint a little more, you know, like if you guys have a lot of space, I think that can be the key. Obviously, the DJ cannot play, and so yeah, man, that's pretty much what everybody's saying. I fully agree.
Yeah, for sure. You were at the game?
I also noticed that. I don't know if you noticed that, but like Tyler Hero was being guarded. Harden was being guarded by Hero. So that is very telling to what people are thinking of him. I know that
it's true. That's
TJ
very
has,
true.
you know, some time, but Hero too.
That is very true, man. I don't think anybody's scared of James Harden one-on-one anymore, and they're not bringing double teams. I mean, they were full court pressing him with PJ Tucker in the beginning of the game, but I think they quickly realized that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just looking forward for you know, a good game. I know you guys don't want to talk too much to Heat fans, but you know, just kind of want to give my 2 cents. That's all.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling, and hopefully more of your fans show up to the game tonight, because that was absolutely embarrassing on national TV to have empty seats in a playoff game.
We're always late, man. It's called Miami time. We're always late to games. I was late too. I missed the first quarter.
It was like that the whole
imagine.
game, though. I feel like it was like that the whole game.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nah. There was people there. There was people there. It looked packed, honestly. Like when it was like towards the end of the fourth quarter, it was packed. But you know, the lines for the food, all that. You know the drill.
Why is it called Miami time?
The what? Miami time? Oh, it's like you're always fucking late. Because, you know, a lot of people here are Hispanic and shit. So there's a thing called Hispanic time, too, that they're always fucking late. I'm Hispanic, so it's fine. It's not racist. But, yeah, man. Love your show, man. I'll keep watching.
All right, man. Thanks. Later. Somebody said that on Twitter when the screenshot was of the stands being empty. They were like, "Yo, you took a screenshot of the game in the first quarter when the fans were still coming in the arena. Game starts at 7:30. Why are you showing up at 7:45? It's not that hard to show up at 6:30 to make sure you get in your seat to watch the tip-off. Paid $1,500 for a playoff ticket, and you're going to be late? That's embarrassing, too." What's going on? You're on Run It Back Philly.
Hey, DJ.
What's up, man?
This is Wes Stone. How you doing,
Wesley, what's up?
brother? How you doing, man?
Good, bro. What's going on?
No, not much. Just wanted to call and say hi. Say I think you're doing a great job. You know.
Hey, thanks. I
I know we
appreciate
don't
it,
agree
man.
on much. I know we don't agree on much, but I do genuinely enjoy your content.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you hanging around even when I come at you, because I just can't handle some of your takes, but it is what it is, man. Yeah, I feel you.
No, man, I love
so
it.
what do you think? What do you think about our chances in game 2?
Dude, I don't see it, man. I really don't. I deeply wish you could play Paul Reed more than 13 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game. But the man is a pure effort player, right? Which is great in small doses. But his defense is wild. He hacks almost every play, hoping he doesn't get a foul, and he gets a foul most times.
Yeah,
he can't play an extended minute.
I mean, but you get 6 fouls. Nobody cares if he fouls out. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Right. But you have to also then choose when you're playing it, right? Because wouldn't you rather have Paul Reed at the end of the game than Deandre Jordan? I know you would, right? I think everyone would. He's a better player.
Do you think that's Doc's strategy?
You also need to. No, I don't. I think he gave Paul Reed a shot to prove that he could do something without fouling, and he just constantly can't.
I think he plays great defense. I think he gets a bad whistle too a lot.
Okay, well, maybe that's the case, but
I'm not blaming it all on that. He definitely fouls. I just think you got to.
Can you?
Go ahead.
You have to. If you can play Paul Reed 10 minutes in the first 3 quarters, and he has 3 fouls instead of 5, you could play him 6 minutes at the end of the game in the fourth, and maybe he doesn't foul out, maybe he does foul out, but that's your best shot. You can only play him for a certain amount of minutes, and then hopefully he doesn't have a lot of fouls, and then you can save him for the end. But the man was literally on the court for 13 minutes and he grabbed 9 boards. He had 5 fouls. You can't play him.
I mean, you can
play him for what, 2 minutes and then fouls out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you play DeAndre, you're losing. So you play Paul, and if he fouls out, then you play it. If he fouls out, then you go with DeAndre and lose. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, but would 2 extra minutes of Paul Reed erase the 20-point deficit?
No, I wouldn't erase a 20-point deficit at all.
No.
I think part of it is you got to play Charles Bassey too.
Did he play at all this season?
He had a game in November where he played against the Denver Nuggets against Nikola Jokic, and he had, I forget the point total, 9 points I think, but he had 12 rebounds and 5 blocks. The dude's an absolute rebounding, shot blocking stud, and Doc gave him 0 minutes the entire season. It's embarrassing, really is.
Was he injured?
He was
at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I just when he was coming off an injury.
Yeah, he had an injury towards the end of the season. Yeah, but I mean, the fact that Doc didn't try to on a team where you didn't have once you've traded the Andre Drummond, you didn't have any backup center options. Yeah. You should be spending the second half of the season trying to find guys, trying to give them time to see who's good.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and he refused to do it. So
I think he definitely needed more time. Might be too little, too late, but yeah, throw him in. I think you can't get much worse, like you said, but I think. At the end of the day, it's like, Doc is probably just feels more comfortable with the vet that can't do much.
Exactly.
But be out there and is a man. Yeah, right. I think it's just a comfort thing for Doc. But I mean, I just to touch on Doc real quick, because being a head coach has to be the absolute worst gig in the world, outside of being paid millions of dollars. Because, I mean, you get 0 credit for any success, and you get 100% of the blame when you lose. That is the worst job I could ever imagine doing.
I don't think that's every coach, though. I think coaches like Nick Nurse get credit for wins. Coaches like Brad Stevens got a lot of credit for a lot of wins.
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra gets a lot of credit for a lot of wins. When you coach strategically and people can see, hey, this guy outcoached the other guy, sure, but when you're as bad as Doc Rivers, you get blamed when you lose, and when you win, it's like, well, the lineups were still weird, and I don't know why he played this guy or that guy, but we won by a buzzer beater.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but you talk about Nick Nurse, and you talk about Brad Stevens, and you talk about it's because they overachieve with
Has Doc Rivers ever overachieved?
No, but most of the time he's always had the championship now and then team, right? You talk about City, you talk about the Celtics, you talk about now with Kawhi and Paul George, and it's always been, hey, our ceiling is championship. That's what we're aiming for, and he's never been the one with a rising rookie and some good pieces like Nick Nurse, and suddenly he's in the playoffs, and it's a big deal that you win 2 games. That's never been in Doc's resume. It's always been, hey, we have a superstar and our ceiling is championship. But this is the point, right? At the end of the Raptors series, when we lost the 2 games, and everyone was talking about, oh my God, Doc's about to be your first coach to blow a 3-1 lead or a 3-0 lead. I mean, he got defensive and everything. And I just think, if you're a coach in the NBA for 20 years, and this thing on your resume stinks and it haunts you, but nobody ever talks about the context, I could see being a little defensive on that. And then when it comes to this, what happened in that last game? They came out and blew him out. And I didn't hear anyone say anything about Doc Rivers. Wow, Doc really coached around him on this.
I gave Doc credit.
Okay. Well,
anytime Doc did something, I'm not saying everyone did, but anytime Doc did something that impressed me, like, hey, look, he finally played Paul Reed in a game, or he finally did this, or he went zone in the second quarter, I just want the guy to make the right decisions and coach well. I'm not out here to hate anybody randomly for no reason. The same way I would have been ecstatic if Ben Simmons suddenly played basketball like somebody that was a $180 million player and he never did it. And anytime he shot a three, I threw a celebration. I don't hate people.
Yeah. No,
I just want them to do the right thing.
I hear you.
Both of those guys are frauds.
No, I agree.
I'm going to get to some other callers. Thanks for calling in, Wesley. I appreciate it, man.
No.
Doc Rivers has underachieved his entire career. He needs 4 Hall of Famers to win a championship. I mean, what is the context that you're talking about when people talk about all of his blown leads? Yeah, well, you're saying it without context. Well, okay, let's talk about it with context. You were up 3-1 with Paul George and the better team. You were up 3-1 with whoever else in the better team. You collapsed and you collapsed and you collapsed. You were up 3-1 with Chris Paul and the better team. But shout out to Wesley for being cool and calling the show, even though I disagree with everything he says 24/7. The funny part is he was trying to defend Doc in the end of that call, and then you were basically agreeing with me. Well, he's never been that. Yeah, so he's bad. That's what we're saying. What's going on? You're on the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What's up?
Pretty good, man. I wanted to give you all some insight. And a Sixers fan. I became a Sixers fan, obviously because of Sam Hinkie. When you guys got Hinkie and started the process, I've been following you guys very closely ever since, and it was also awesome to see Harden join my boy Morey, of course. You got Morey as well. So I want to give you. I'm a huge James Harden fan, obviously from the Houston days.
Yep.
So I'm going to give Harden a pass this year for one specific reason. A lot of people, I guess, have forgotten when Harden suffered a grade 2 hamstring injury. I think it was June of last year, right? During the playoffs that started late, right?
Yeah.
There was when you have a hamstring injury, you can't do much cardio, right? Not a lot of cardio can be done. He even admitted that before the Nets season started. He's obviously a very slow player in the sense he's very crafty, but he doesn't have that kind of he didn't have the burst and athleticism that he had from his first step. And that, I believe, either A, it's not fully healed, or B, it's in his brain, right? It's one of those two things.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be, I think, to really, truly assess James Harden, especially, I mean, you got 20 games of continuity, and now you got Embiid out, and you got the corpse of Deandre Jordan starting, for God's sakes, man. I mean, who would you guys consider to be more of a Capella model? Would it be Bassey, or would you think it would be a Reed? That's my question.
It would. I could show you. I could show you a couple plays in about 30 seconds of Charles Bassey catching alley-oops with his head at the rim with one hand in the G League, jumping over players. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me.
That's what I thought too. I was like, man, I would start with Bassey because of Reed being in foul trouble all the time. We can't trust him to stay in the game. Let's be honest. And I agree with Doc with that, right? I mean, we'd like to bag on Doc, but that is a very true thing. You got to stay on the floor, right? And of course, when you're younger and, you're not going to get the benefit of the whistle of being a good defender because you're always fouling, right? So I would start Bassey completely. Let's plaster Deandre Jordan to the bench. That's very important. Start Bassey. Give him just literally roll to the basket, run the floor, get rebounds, and block shots. That's right. All you got. You got to show him freaking Capella video.
I mean, yeah, I would also ride a magic carpet to work.
Why is that?
We're talking about stuff that's not going to happen. Doc Rivers is not going to do that. So, I mean, we could talk about flying cars and living on Mars and talking to my pets like Dr. Doolittle. Anything else that's impossible, it's not going to happen.
I agree.
So how do we win?
Yeah,
now?
The problem was when he said, what did Doc Rivers say? He said, I don't care whether you like it or not, he's starting. I'm like, oh my God, that is the worst thing you could possibly say, man.
Exactly.
The worst thing you could possibly say. Like, he gave absolutely no wiggle room. And I understand. I bet you, I know Harden very well. This is coming from Harden. It also came from KD back in the day too.
because Harden knows that you need to have that presence. But the problem is Harden thinks this is DeAndre Jordan 3-4 years ago. It's not the case, man. Those days are over.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving Harden a pass. I agree. I don't really I don't come out here and be like, James Harden, what the hell are you doing? You suck. I'm admitting that he's not what he was in Houston right now. So you got to figure something else out. Doc Rivers can't. We're gonna run this Houston James Harden offense. That's not gonna work. He's not Houston James Harden, at least right now. I'm interested to see what he looks like with a full off season. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, if you really want to do Houston James, like what's his name? JJ Redick had an interesting. I think you played that already. Where he says, "Hey, man, stretch out the floor, play small." I mean, Harden needs space, man. Especially when you have that. When you're a little bit slower, and he's very methodical. He's very systematic the way he plays. He's a genius, man. You guys have no idea how great of a player you have. I know it's not you're expecting Houston James Harden.
I called him a basketball genius.
Very good.
I have a YouTube video literally titled "James Harden is a Genius" with Albert Einstein in the thumbnail. I completely agree that he's a basketball wizard. His floor vision, his passing ability, the way that he sees the floor, all those things are amazing. But if he can't beat people off the dribble, all of that is gone when they double or run zone. So it doesn't matter.
All right, so let me give you a 8-year sample size from Houston of what I expect in Game 2. Game 1, Harden, I was really expecting to see the best version of Harden because if you go and look at the history, James Harden Game 1 usually just performs off the charts good. He had like 3 or 4 days of rest. I was expecting to see a really good Game 1 performance because usually he tails off because his gas tank is not he's not that high motor guy, right? His gas tank eventually dwindles down towards the end and you'll see these really terrible Game 6, Game 7 elimination game performances. That's James Harden, right? Again, I wish James Harden had one thing, man. I love this. My favorite player of all time, you know what I mean, after Jordan and Kobe. Favorite player of all time. I just wish he had that killer instinct mentality. He does not have that. I wish he had it. He does not have that. That's why it's good to have an Embiid. And, like James Harden's got the worst luck, man. What happened with him? Chris Paul, 3-2 up. Chris Paul pulls the hamstring. Bam, the title against the greatest team constructed of all time with Durant, for God's sake. I'm a Warriors, right?
He fought his ass off at the end of that series, and he made ridiculous shots, game tying, double team to like 40 feet away from he made so many ridiculous shots in that series. People don't give him credit because they just look at the numbers in what happened in that series, but he did everything he possibly could against that team when Chris Paul went down.
He did, man. I mean, what else do you expect this man to do, man? Like, he can't score 100 points, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's not going to happen. He's not going to score 100 points. You can't shoot 17% from three-point range.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to win a game like that with Joel Embiid out.
We need 25 from Harden. Do you agree with that?
I would love to see, man. I want to see my boys Harden drop 30, man, on the boys. Like, he can. But the thing is like, I don't know what's his mental roadblock. Maybe he's very, one thing, who made this comment? I think it was on First Take, made a very interesting, I said, one thing about Harden is he's not like a Westbrook where he'll jack up shots. If he's very self-aware. If he doesn't feel like he can do it at this moment, he's not going to just jack up shots for no reason. He's very self-aware, but the problem is, dude, you got freaking, what's his name, Niang, or that's our 6th man of the year right there, for God's sake. If you got Niang, we're relying on Niang, bro. I don't care, dude. I'd rather have one-legged James Harden jacking up 30 shots than Niang. Let's be honest.
I would rather him jack up 30 shots. I agree. He only jacked up 13, which is not going to cut it. Like, he has to shoot the ball.
Not enough.
You say he's self-aware. He has to be self-aware enough to know I'm the one that has to shoot the ball to get this offense rolling.
I know, but again, he knows that he can't score 100 points, so he needs to get a flow of the teammates getting a feel of the game, and that never happened.
I don't need him to score 100. I need him to score 25.
Someone going.
I hope you're right about Harden with a full. I hope you're right about Harden with a full offseason, though. I really do, man. You got anything else for me? I'm going to get to some more callers, man.
Full offseason, because everybody's calling him washed, right? I'm not going to call James Harden washed until I see him next year. As long as he doesn't get hurt in any of these series, hopefully we go to the next series and progress forward. But even after the season's over, as long as he doesn't have some injury at the end of this playoff, because the one thing about James Harden, I've been watching him for a very long time. He always goes and he's playing in the Drew League over there in California every single summer. He didn't do that last year. He couldn't keep him. So I just want to give you guys, don't fret about James Harden until next year.
All right, man.
Just want to make sure you put that on clear.
I hope you're right, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, man.
I hope you're right. I mean, I say the same thing. Like, he's washed right now. If he has a full offseason and gets the hamstring healthy and comes back next season and looks like better or more like a superstar or an all-star, that's cool. But, find I didn't do the research, but go find me an NBA player that averaged the worst points per game of his career at 32 and 33 years old and then had an offseason and came back and was amazing again. Athletes don't usually come back up when they're 33. You know? I'm 35. I haven't dribbled a basketball in 2 years. I don't think there's anything I could do. I could train for an entire offseason and not be as quick as I was when I was 25. That's just, you know what I mean. That's just how I feel about it. What's going on? You're on the show.
Hey, what's up, Eastwood? How's it going?
Good, man. What's up?
I'm at work right now, so I just wanted to get my piece in real quick. But let me bring up these stats from when DJ was on the floor with the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I think they only played 8 minutes together, but this is some unforgivable shit right here.
Let's hear it.
So our defensive rebounding percentage was 57%. That means that 43% of the Miami Heat possessions when they were shooting, they were getting second chance opportunities. Our offensive rebounding percentage with DJ on the floor, 0%. 0%. Straight up none. It did not happen. We were one and done every single time. You can't win like that. You can't. Rebounds are too important to the game. And Doc saying shit like DJ was rebounding well for us, I don't get it, man.
Yeah, he actually said that. That's crazy.
I know. 0% offensive rebounding. It's absolutely insane.
And Paul Reed had 5 offensive rebounds in 13 minutes.
Dude, I mean, with the starting lineup and Paul Reed on the floor, which granted that was only 5 minutes of play, we had a 100% defensive rebounding percentage. That means every single time that the Miami Heat took a shot, we got the ball back or they made it.
Yep. It's pretty obvious to me what needs to happen, but, we'll see.
Absolutely. Anyways, have a good day, man. I just wanted to get that out there.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Before I get up out of here, why is that on there? Before I get up out of here, I just want to say this. Deandre Jordan played in that game in the regular season where we beat the Miami Heat without Joel Embiid, and he played 25 minutes, and he had 8 rebounds. So there is also hope that maybe Deandre Jordan has a better game than he had, 2 days ago. What's up, man? You're on the show. Shout out to Canada.
Yo, what's up, man? Appreciate that. Yo, shout out to you. Shout out to RB, Rom, Greg Melly, all you guys, man. Sharing the pain out here, easing it. But yo, man, Broski, Doc Rivers, frustrating, man. This guy is like just fights with the media, straight up lying about Reed's minutes, his ego. Like, I can't believe he's getting paid to cause us this much pain, bro. This doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I feel like even the one. Pardon?
It doesn't make any sense. I agree.
Bro, I think someone was here trying to defend him, talking about.
Yeah, it just so happened to be Wesley Stone, the guy that defended Ben Simmons for 2 years. I mean, for some reason, he automatically tries to defend whoever I'm coming after.
Bro, I don't know, man. Wesley, you got to chill, man. Defending Doc Rivers at this point, you got to go watch hockey or something. But like the only time Doc Rivers ever won a championship was with the one super team in the league. He had 3 years to do it, and he didn't win again. OG. I think in 09, KG got
Yep.
injured, but you know. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
and then LeBron
2010, he just grew.
LeBron said, "I see your super team. I raise you Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh."
Bro, like, it doesn't make any sense, man. And honestly, I don't want to see Millsap, DeAndre Jordan, Dork Maz, Thibault, even though that one hurts to say, but we can't see these guys on the court. Doc has to go 7-man rotation. He's got to play basketball when we need to, but you know he's not going to do that, which is just hard out here, man.
I guess we have to just hope that DeAndre Jordan's not as bad as he was in Game 1. That's really it, because Doc's going to play him no matter what. I like your point in the beginning, though. It's amazing that like the entire organization is sitting around watching Doc Rivers do this. How does Daryl Morey or anybody else watch this and say, it's fine? Like, I don't get it.
Exactly. I feel like, and the saddest part is that he might be back next year.
Yeah, well, I hope not. I don't think he wants to come back. I think Doc either retires or they have a mutual agreement. I don't think he has any interest in coaching in Philly. He can't stand Philly fans. He can't stand Philly media. He's always wrong, arguing with people, lying on the podium. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't think he wants to be here anyway, and I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, that's the problem with Philly. I feel like in general, top to bottom, they bring in non-Philly dudes. Not in terms of being from Philly, but not people that fit the grit that Philly has. They haven't had a coach that, you know, since like Doug Collins that really represented Philly. Brett Brown, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then even players, the roster, they never have dogs on the floor. They never have guys that can just pull up off the dribble, shoot it, go back, play defense, get a steal or something. Instead, it's either they're Matisse Thybulle or they're first on Korkmaz, and you just can't win that way.
Yeah, you're right, man. A lot of soft coaches and soft players in a hard-nosed city. I agree.
Yeah, man. I think that's why we love Paul Reed so much. Like, Paul Reed, Maxey, these guys, they're dogs. Even that Charlie Brown guy, he can't play, but he's a dog, you know?
Yes,
and,
exactly.
Like, I think we should just let Reed play, foul him out, play small ball, play bassy when we need him. And we could honestly steal a game or two, or three even. But, man, at this point, I don't see us winning in Miami without Embiid.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm just hoping that we can maybe steal one, and then Embiid comes back with the mask on. They said he was feeling better. I guess that's what I'll read before I get out of here. But thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Oh, Sixers fan up there in Canada. How did you feel during the Raptors series with all of your peers, locals around you hating Joel Embiid? Anyway, where's the I have an Embiid article. Where'd my Embiid article go, man? Joel Embiid's feeling better. And Doc Rivers had some things to say about him. Damn. Let me find it real quick. Joel Embiid, Sixers star, feeling a lot better. I want the NBC one. There it is. And then we'll be up out of here because I got things to do. Shout out to anybody that's still calling in. I ran out of time, man. I got to go. Embiid feeling a lot better. Lowry still sidelined with hamstring injury. Doc Rivers was positive but cautious late Tuesday morning when asked about Embiid's progression through NBA concussion protocol. Get this out of here, man. I know he did something yesterday, but not much, and I know he's feeling a lot better. I don't want to give false hope either, so I'll just stop there, Rivers said. In addition to a concussion, Embiid suffered a right orbital fracture last Thursday during the Sixers' Game 6 win over the Raptors from a Pascal Siakam punch to the face that was blatantly a dirty play down by 29 points. I don't care what anybody says about it. Miami again ruled out Kyle Lowry for Game 2 with a left hamstring strain. Gabe Vincent started Game 1 in his place and got 10 points. He was roasting us in a certain spurts like Gabe Vincent always does. Rivers candid Tuesday in not chalking up the Game 1 loss to simply misfiring on open jumpers. The biggest adjustment for us is taking care of the darn ball, Rivers said, but that's being organized, being in the right spots, running the offense correctly. What was disappointing is we anticipated it. We were supposed to be in those spots. Yeah, right. What are you even saying? And then to get in the game and let their pressure take us out of that was really, at least for me, not disheartening, but really troubling. You never know why that happens, but it does. And then rebounding as a group. So you're actually going to play Deandre Jordan, and then you're going to say we got beat because of rebounding as a group. This is the best part right here. Their pressure took us out of the game, basically, he's saying. And you never know why that happens, but it does. I love when Doc Rivers says things like this. You know, these things just happen. Or, it's just one of those games. Even when he was going on a rant about all of his blown playoff leads and he was trying to defend himself, he was, my Orlando team was an 8th seed, even though Tracy McGrady had back-to-back 40-point games in game 1 and 2. You had a superstar on your squad. Yeah, you were an 8th seed, but you were still up 3-1. And then he said something else about a loss, with the Clippers up 3-1, we did this, and then he says, and that, sometimes that just happens. No, Doc, literally, you have more than anybody in the history of the game. It doesn't just happen. It's happened one time in the history, and it's you. You never know why that happens, but it does. Really? Maybe because you're playing players that can't move. That's all I got, man. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see what the Sixers do tonight. Do me a favor, hit the like button on the stream. Thanks for calling the show, everybody. Go Sixers, man. Steal one in Miami. Get Embiid back with the mask on. And we're rolling. Peace.